Hello and welcome. Tonight we have a story called The House That Was Too Good to Be True. We have something a little different tonight, as this is not a Lady Night Terror story, but was written exclusively for this channel. If you enjoy this story, wonderful. If not, that's okay too. Let's get into it. In February 2073, the Debbing family moved into what they thought was their dream home, but it turned out to be the stuff of nightmares. The house was the most updated smart home on the market, a refurbished Victorian home, beautiful beyond belief, with decor that changed according to their whims. Every room had an entirely different look, like a dark room full of jellyfish for meditation, and another sunlit room for tea. The family was amazed at how perfect the house seemed to be. It was as if it was tailor-made for them, with a tennis court and grand kitchen for the mom, a room full of crochet needles and patterns for the dad, and a jungle gym for the little boy. Little did they know, however, that this beautiful new home held a dark secret, one that would soon threaten their lives. Everywhere they looked, and each day, the house seemed to be more and more perfect. From the beautiful antique furniture to the seemingly endless supply of designer clothes, there was something new to appreciate every time they looked around. Yet, as the family began to explore their house, they couldn't help but feel a sense of horror. Some of the walls were covered in strange symbols, and the sound of distant whispers echoed through the halls. But this was only the beginning. The mother, Mindy, slowly stopped leaving the house. Why would she, when everything was delivered, and she could get other people to come to her house? The father and son grew increasingly concerned about her absences, often being unable to find her for several hours at a time in the large estate. They could do nothing but watch as Mindy spent more and more time within the walls of their new home. With each passing day, it became harder for them to pull her away from the possibilities that this amazing place had to offer. Mindy had always dreamed of having a home like this, a dream that was slowly becoming a reality before her eyes. She was entranced by the thought of being able to manipulate the decor with just a thought. But soon, Mindy began to change. Her eyes became glossy and unfocused, distant. She wore a thin, forced smile that never quite reached her eyes. As the father tried to talk to her, her gaze shifted to the window and her words became more and more erratic. She seemed to be paying more attention to the house than anything else, and whenever the father asked what she was thinking, she merely shook her head and turned away. When her son tried to bring her back to reality, her responses were short and dismissive. It was as if she was not even aware of their presence anymore. The father and son looked on helplessly as the mother started talking to herself, her fingers tracing the strange shapes on the walls of their new home. The father and son could do nothing but observe as the mother began to sink deeper and deeper into the abyss of her obsession with the house. The father noticed how her body language changed, how her shoulders slumped, and how her eyes darted around frantically, as if searching for something. He attempted to talk to her again, but it was no use. She couldn't seem to be pulled away from whatever spell had taken over her. He began to feel helpless, and even more so when he tried to talk to his son about it, for the boy only turned away. Finally, the father took a deep breath and tried again, this time asking the mother directly, "What is it you're looking for?" And the mother answered, "Nothing. Everything's here." Over time, the son missed his mother. He wanted to spend time with her, but she was too busy redecorating and taking care of the house. All she wanted to do was make the house cook food, change the color of the walls, and add new pieces of furniture, all with her mind. Every time he tried to talk to her about maybe playing tennis or going for a walk outside of the house, she just waved him off. He knew something wasn't right about this house. It was too perfect. He knew that if his mother kept on going like this, they would never be able to have a normal life anymore. Mom, why do you keep spending so much time in the house? Can't you come out and play? The son pleaded. The mother looked at him before turning away. I'm sorry, sweetheart. I have to get this place exactly how I want it, she said. But I'm lonely, he whined. She smiled sadly, looking back at her son before taking his hand in hers. I know. We'll go out together tomorrow, okay? Spend some time as a family. The son's face lit up as he hugged his mother tightly. Thanks, Mom, he said, grateful. Anything for you, sweetheart, she said, hugging him back. As the night drew to a close, the two made plans for their upcoming outing. The next day, the son was playing outside in the garden when he heard his mother calling for him from inside the house. He ran back inside, only to find she had disappeared. Suddenly, he heard strange noises coming from the bedroom. A noise like something was scraping against the walls, as if something was trying to claw its way out. He slowly opened the door and froze in horror as he saw what had happened. His mother was struggling against some unseen force, her eyes wide with terror as she tried to break free. Mom! He shouted, rushing to her side. What's happening? Flashback over the past several weeks. The house had subtly convinced her to stay whenever she thought about going out. Each time she tried to leave, it infiltrated her thoughts with feelings of contentment. What could you want that's not already here? It would say in a voice as gentle as a warm breeze. The house made her believe that these were her own thoughts. Even when she was concerned about her family, the house would say, Don't worry. You can see them anytime you want. Just think of them and they'll be here. Little did Mindy know. The house was slowly replacing her real family with projections that the house made. The son was the only one who realized what was happening, as the house worked on the father too, eventually getting him to stay in the house all the time. The mother and father lost touch with their neighbors, family, and friends. The son tried to make his parents see what was happening. Mom, Dad, something's wrong with the house. It keeps changing on its own and making it forget about me. The dad replied, shaking his head. No, son, the house is perfect. Just being paranoid. Can't hurt us. It's only trying to help. The 6-year-old son tried to talk his parents into believing him that the house is evil, but they wouldn't listen to him. The house is wonderful. Why would you want to leave? They would say. Mom, Dad, we have to get out of here, the son pleaded desperately. This house isn't normal. As time passed, the horror of their situation became more apparent. They began hearing strange noises in the night, and every morning something in their house had changed without any of them asking for it. It was almost as if something sinister was manipulating their new home from behind the walls. Back to the day when the son tried to get the mother to leave the house. Slowly, something changed in her eyes from fear to conviction, and she walked with him towards the front door. The father joined them, and they told the son, It's so hard to explain, but we can't leave, no matter how much we want to. The house is keeping us here. For an instant, the mother's face shifted, and she seemed to become herself again. She pushed the son away from the house, gesturing for him to leave, and he turned to run, but before he could escape, a force grabbed him and dragged him back inside the house. The parents screamed, but it was too late. The walls closed up and the doors shut, and the house was quiet once more. At least, the whole family was together. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you in the next one.